Yes.
We're doing a mini shir tonight.
You should fix it like that again.
Oh. Speak to the mic, not the camera. We're doing a mini shir tonight. Anyway, the question was asked about midrashim and how even maisim and midrashim would seem can be not taken literally. So Reb Tzadok has an amazing example of that. I think I've said it before, but a word bears repeating. I'm not sure I said it to you, obviously. It says in Medrash that Bilam was one of the three advisors of Paro.
Yeah.
You heard this from me?
You can say it again.
Okay. Bilam, did you hear? The Medrash says Bilam was one of the three advisors of Paro. You should be able to get only two people here tonight. Bilam was one of the three advisors of Paro. And the other one was Eov, and the other one was Yisro. So when he asked what to do with the Jews, so Bilam said, afflict them, destroy them, whatever. Yisro said, respect them, and Eov was silent. So as a result, Bilam met a bad end, Yisro made a good end, and Eov had to suffer. So we could ask the question, there's opinion in Rabasa that Eov was never created, right? It's just a mashal, the whole story. So what is that opinion going to do with this medrash?
Well, is that he was never created, or that never so ever happened?
Never created.
He was never such
Lo hayav lo nivro. Yeah. Okay. But Reb Tzadok doesn't ask from Eov, he asks from Bilam. There's another chazal which says that Bilam was 34 when he was killed at the end of the 40 years in the desert, which means that at the time that the Torah was given and they left Egypt, he was -6. He wasn't yet born for another 6 years. In fact, contradicts another medrash. Another medrash says that at the time of Matan Torah, all the nations of the world came to Bilam and they said, "What's going on? What are all these loud noises and shakings?" And they said, Bilam said, "Hashem is giving the Torah to Klal Yisrael." And the nation said, "Hashem ozam oitei, Hashem v'rechas amo v'shalom." Hashem is giving this very powerful thing to Klal Yisrael. He has to bless them with peace. So that also contradicts that idea that he was 34 when he died. So Reb Tzadok says that in the Maisa with the advice of Paro, these are three perspectives which were taking place in Paro's own mind. It doesn't mean the person Bilam, the person Eov, and the person Yisro. It means Bilam mind frame, Yisro mind frame, and Eov mind frame. And this was the internal trialogue that Paro was having with himself when he went through these motions. You can say one thing, you can say the same thing. Perhaps, although I don't recall what Tzadok says about this, that when the Torah was given and they went to Bilam, it means that they perceived with their capacity, which was a Bilam capacity to perceive the higher realms with existence, which most people couldn't perceive, but at that point evidently the gates were open, so then they were able to perceive what was going on, and then Hashem was giving the Torah Christ, so even though they were very far away, very distant, very disconnected, they had this prophetic understanding of it. So you see that even a very basic medrash, like Bilam, Yisro, and Eov, which seems to be a story, is according to Reb Tzadok a mashal. So there really are very few midrashim which are necessarily meant to be taken literally. The ones from which we learn halacha.
So Sifrei is all literal. Sifrei, first time and all that.
The ones from which we learn halacha, and the ones which relate actual historical incidents.
Isn't Eov a Navi?
But I also don't always know.
Isn't Eov a Navi?
You mean because he speaks to Hashem?
We have Sefer Eov, no?
No, it's Ketubah.
Yeah.
But how does he not exist if we have a Sefer?
No, it's written.
It was written as a...
Moshe Rabbeinu said, right?
Yeah, so also the Gemara has different opinions.
Which Gemara?
Baba Basra, the end of the first parak.
And literally the end of it?
No, a couple of plot before the end, whatever.
Okay, can we finish that subject?
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, that's it.
We get back to it. I heard from a rabbi, I won't say a name, maybe not yet, that if you say Hashem...
Not me.
No, not you. I would have said so. If you say Hashem's name by accident and you want to like recover from it, say Baruch Shem. Apparently there's a 24-hour limit for that.
24 hours? It's right away.
No, I heard there's.
So the story was that somebody.
You don't get 24 hours.
Maybe it's a decision.
You get Tokadei Dibur. You get within a second or two.
Okay, so let's tell the story. The story was that somebody was making Hiraton.
Yeah.
Somebody else mistakenly corrected him and told him to say something else when he should. And he really shook, and he just started Hiraton. He should have said name, but he finished the sentence, and then somebody else not here that he made Hashem's name and corrected him to say something else. And so after that, the person came up to him and said, "Listen, you corrected me, but I said Hashem's name. I didn't know whether I should stop or not. So I didn't. So I went, I interrupted. So what should I do?" And he said, "Well, I didn't realize. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you made you word Hashem's name. But you could say Baruch Shem, right? And don't make okay, Rabbi, big Rob." And he said Baruch Shem, right?
You can't. Baruch Shem.
Unless the other person misunderstood it. What you meant.
Maybe that could be also.
That could be the
Listen,
happens often. Maybe.
Baruch Shem Machusa Lolam Voed doesn't fix. The only thing which fixes is Lamdeini Chukecha.
I have to practice something else.
Okay?
Now you come.
Why so many people?
The only thing which fixes.
We're waiting for you.
Lamdei Chukecha.
Baruch Atah Hashem Lamdeini Chukecha. It's in the Siyum.
Yeah, but whenever you say Baruch Hashem,
What?
you have to add that after you say it by accident, you say Baruch Hashem.
When you start a bracha, Baruch Atah
I'm
Hashem.
not saying when you start Racha. Like in the middle of a pasuk, you accidentally say, like in Hiratzon, Milfanachai Hashem, okay.
And then what?
Then you're like, oops, I don't have to say that. You stop, but then how do you save yourself from
Baruch Shem, right?
Baruch Hashem just means that since I mentioned Hashem's name, I'm going to praise it.
Right.
So it won't be completely in vain.
Does that mean completely?
But the bracha of Atala is not fixed by that.
So yeah, according to some it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, according to something it is.
No, who says it is?
The Young Force is according to something it is.
What?
The Young Force. Laws of Brachas.
Who?
What does he say?
Let me see.
So what do you say? Baruch Atah Hashem, Lamdei,
Lamdeini,
Lamdeini,
Chukecha,
what's Chukecha?
your laws.
Like Chukim.
Yes. Teach us your laws.
So what do you do then if Baruch Shem doesn't fix it completely?
You say I'm sorry.
Is that the best you can do?
What?
Say I'm sorry.
Is that so bad?
Is that enough?
I mean,
Yes.
is there something in the cosmos that's completely altered that can't be
Did
fixed?
you destroy an angel?
You didn't do it on purpose.
You create an angel with him to make a bracha. Did you destroy it without finishing it? Or did
Well,
you make it become one?
an angel is a spiritual force. You created a spiritual force which was inappropriate. Now, by your remorse, you eliminate it.
So how's that not the same as, let's say, emission?
Who says not the same? What do you mean?
Well, when sorry to change certain subject, when you have a bad timed emission, then it's considered like you've made bad deformities and spiritually. That's the same.
You're not supposed to worry about these things.
What's the difference between this and a bracha? This is all.
We're just supposed to worry about rectifying what we did wrong, not about deformed entities which we formed.
I'm just wondering now that you...
That's not our business to understand.
Oh, it is some other people.
For all you know, the moment if you let's say said a bracha v'atala, and then you went oi, that oi maybe it's mechaper, maybe it undermines the whole issue.
It doesn't change the fact that you made deformed it.
What is true? What do you mean? It doesn't change. Every Avedu makes deformed spiritual entities. It's the truth which has to correct it by Yotzah by emission. So they say all sorts of other additional voodoo things, but the principle is the same.
There's no tshuva for that, they say.
What?
There's no tshuva for that.
But Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva about it. How to do tshuva on it. You should not be so influenced by Hasidic sources which say that.
Zohar.
Sephardi for sure.
Zohar.
You're talking about a night, like a night emission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Zohar is not a...
It's not halachic, the Zohar.
That's true, but...
Moshe is tshuva. Moshe was a halachist, right? He says we don't even know that it's awesome.
What do you mean?
Well, how can you control it?
There's no it's in the Torah.
For what?
Hotzah Zerah V'Atala.
I thought there was an Isser.
What?
What about the story?
Of course they shouldn't do it. But it,
Don't feel you're saying.
what? No, it doesn't.
Hashem said like it's like
No, it doesn't. He said he killed Onan for
It
it.
says in I think Egyptian.
But how come Kitzur Shalom
What?
writes it down and everywhere Kitzur?
Of course, he brings it down because it's considered kabbalistically to be a very negative, very bad thing.
one of the worst.
So what do you
things.
get? They say that the Misa for it is B'nai Shamayim, no? They say that's what they record for it. You have Misa B'nai Shamayim for it.
I know that the Shulchan Aruch says very bad things about it, but Moshe Feinstein says it's kabbalistic. It's not halachic.
Is there a distinction to be made between, like I was reading the Code of Torah book, and it says over there that the sin of onanism is what is referred in
Onanism?
Yeah, onanism. That's when you
Onan was one of the guys, Yehuda's sons, who were involved and engaged in that.
So in that book, he puts, I don't know who puts in parentheses thing, but somebody writes it the way I showed you. It says it's Dafka Onan who had a wife, and in order for her not to be beautiful, he spilled his sid, and that was so evil in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's eyes. And apparently that's different than regular wasting of seed. I don't know what's the difference would
I
be.
believe the person is abominable in Hashem's eyes or something. When I remember reading it.
No, it's the meaning of a nation, probably.
It's a very bad thing.
Right.
It might not be an Issa D'Oraisa.
Then why do you get punishment from Shamayim for having dying early?
The shot is like this.
It's a Trash is there right there.
I don't know.
Whenever the Beckoffer explanation,
Yeah.
which I give whenever I speak to high school students about this issue,
Why was you?
I don't know how it came to that.
is that based on Rav Dessler. Rav Dessler says that in the Kuntres HaChesed, that the world is divided into givers and takers, and you're supposed to always strive to be as great a giver as you can.
That's how it's in the house.
What?
Yes, I remember reading that.
Right. As great a giver as you can possibly be. Hotzah Zer Levatola is the antithesis, the exact opposite of being a giver, because you're taking pleasure selfishly without giving any pleasure or benefit to other people. Which the whole idea was to give, to be able to have relations with a wife where you would be giving her pleasure at the same time that you're having pleasure, and somehow that works out.
Not love creates the union with a child.
But when you do it by yourself, it's pure egocentrical pleasure, which is the exact opposite of what's purpose in this world. So when a person dies young, it's because they're they're corrupting themselves by doing what they're doing.
Now that you have a card's condition line for it, not that you don't have a card's condition line for it.
No. It's not a chiyuv kares. You will look in the Rambam. Won't say chiyuv kares. But Torah Tola.
It's just chiyuv condition line that you die young.
It doesn't say in the Rambam.
No.
No, it's
In the Ari Catholic
it's
brings
where it
down.
says that your children will be like thieves or something like that.
That's also I didn't hear that.
What was that?
Something like your children will be thieves or
Thieves?
I don't know what it was. It's not good.
I like that. Okay, but Robert, so that
There's this book which made everybody crazy a couple years ago. This thing Ephraim, something Ephraim.
something you light of frying.
Yeah, like Ephraim, yeah.
What?
One little packet?
No, it's a whole book.
It's a whole book. My friend has it. Well, Kav Hayasha is pretty.
What?
Kav Hayasha is basically all about that.
Yeah. Shouldn't be learning Kavayosha.
So, okay, but then, so according to your theory, right? So maybe you would say it's less of a sin somebody has a strong desire for it. I mean, what you're saying, he's a taker because that's what he wants to indulge himself in. But if somebody has a desire, he is a taiva, and he can control himself, how is it different? Is it different or no?
No.
No? Okay, fine. So, this is 63. 63.
There's no Misa B'Yishmael?
There is.
This is not going to help for a bracha.
What is that? The two opinions he brings down there.
Uh-huh.
So read out loud.
Yes.
Yes.
When you say Baruch Shem Kol Malchus Amvad, he quotes a Rambam in Ilchos Shavuos. It would seem from the Rambam's words that the stigma of Shem Levatola has thereby been removed. By joining words of praise to the name of Hashem that was previously uttered without justification, the newly added praise renders the pronouncement of Hashem's name meaningful.
Okay. And the next line says
It now serves as a subject to to which the praise attaches itself.
Then the other thing.
The view is based on the Talmud Yerushalmi. Seah also responds upon him Meir's. The Shulchan Aruch, other Pasuk have seemed to assume that the stigma of Shem Vatol is not removed. We find Baruch Shem as merely a praise offered to Hashem in an attempt to compensate for disrespectful use of His name.
That's what you were saying.
No, but the first one is also not talking about a bracha.
It's saying God's name on it.
It's saying, let's say you say Jay's witnesses, right?
Yeah.
So then you say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam because you mentioned Hashem's name.
Fine.
But that doesn't fix the bracha of Atola.
Sounds like you said you fixed it.
What's not bracha? You said Brucha to Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Borei Minim Mizonos. What Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam?
Right. What I'm,
Yeah.
my mom's talking about just saying.
But I'm saying when you say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam,
It's a race in Shemaim. You did not make any bracha with Allah.
According to
Rambam.
someone.
Yeah.
it's not the Rambam's Nichos Shvuos. It's about a Shvuah where you mention the name of Hashem.
But okay, anywhere you mentioned, how would it be different?
What?
What's the
The name of Hashem
difference?
is the name of Hashem.
This is
Why
when
even die?
mentioning the name of God in vain
Right.
is eliminated by mentioning the name of God in order to praise it.
So we're
Fine.
so
A bracha which you should not be making because you're not having mazonos now, you're having water,
Yeah.
is a bracha of Atola no matter what.
So therefore you mentioned God's name in vain. And he fixed... Robert, if he did not make a... Let's say he didn't mention God's name.
There the shame became part of the bracha.
Okay.
Here was a mention of Hashem's name.
so what's worse?
So therefore it's a difference?
What's worse?
If you say, oh God, which you're not supposed to say oh God, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Bayit. So the God connects to Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam
Okay.
Bayit.
Fine.
Okay?
But we said talking the dibur. It's like you didn't say anything. It's like you're adding on. You're changing the whole bracha. It's not like bracha 10 minutes later.
It's like a long spit coming on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, if you said Baruch to Hashem, and then you said Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Bayit, so you wouldn't have bracha batola.
So how come that's not one of the?
Because you're supposed to say Lamdeni Chukecha. You're not supposed to say Baruch Shem at that point.
What if you do? It's still fine.
It's better to do Lamdeni Chukecha because that's not artificial. It's part of the
Once
Tehillim.
you're melech, you're done with. You can't. Lamdeni is not going to help you.
What?
Once you're melech, you're done with.
What's the Elokeinu?
Melech first. Oh yeah. So once you're Elokeinu, you're done with. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but we still say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Bayit after we make a bracha
We
batola.
finish that bracha. We
What?
finish that wrong bracha. No.
If you're not,
Let's say I'm saying Mizona. I got a cup of water, and I'm saying Baruch Hu because I thought it was going to be nuts or whatever, right? And now I realize it's not nuts, and I say Baruch Atah Hashem, and I say Elokeinu, right? And I'm realizing, oh, this is water. It's not nuts. So then do I finish the bracha or what? I don't finish the bracha.
Can you still shout calling you with road to cover it up, or?
You gotta make the ultimate
but
shot.
not if when he had in mind, not if he had in mind being in the bracha the same as others.
If you have something in mind to make the announcement, you gotta do it.
You say you broke shame there?
Okay, Rabbi, now we just.
You know, it's like Ashkenaz, Nusach Ashkenaz has after putting on the tefillin shul, yeah, Rosh.
Yeah.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Bayit.
Say it right after you say the bracha, or after you adjust it and put it in the center, then you say
No, you're supposed to say it right after you say the bracha.
You should say that.
How long do we have sick? You can't really have sick.
The longer the hefsek, the worse it is. But you should really not have no hefsek at all.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Can you explain this? This is a little Hasidim, what we mentioned previously. So some rabbi he was also trying to get share, and somebody mentioned about the sin, and somebody else said, well, Tikkun HaKlali. Rabbi Nachman says that if a person is Tikkun HaKlali, then he fixes it, rectifies it, and he says it's all BS.
What's BS?
The whole Tikkun HaKlali. Now, how does that work exactly?
I wouldn't say what.
Because the way Rabbi Nachman puts it, that he's the only tzaddik in the world who found the secret to this, and
You have to tell other rabbanim that only I'm allowed to say controversial things.
It wasn't a choice. It was like there was like 5 other people who were like, yeah, and they're like,
Rav Nachman's Tikkun Klali,
yeah.
I am sure works. I am sure works for whoever really believes in it.
You have to believe in it.
Yes. I am sure it doesn't work for whoever doesn't believe in it.
So how do you know if you
The same way Torah works. The Gemara says Torah, learning Torah is a Tikkun Torah.
But if you believe in Torah, then you have to believe in everything Rabbi Nachman says that's bad about it. Like all the evil punishments are going to happen.
Why does it follow that way?
Because he's the one who says it's going to work, and he's the one who says how bad it is.
Well, if I don't believe that it's so bad, Koshkin should work.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So you don't have to believe it's as bad as Rav Nachman says.
Okay, then will it work or no? Or it should work?
Yeah.
But what about like this whole thing that he's the only person in the world that found it? How does that work exactly? Like that's the time like what it doesn't say anywhere in the Zohar, it doesn't say anywhere else in the Gemara, any other sources, and he's like he comes out with this big Kiddush. So how does that work exactly?
That's a Bresler Chassid will have that perspective. Well, I don't know.
What's the hashkafa behind it? Can he not? Is it possible? Not possible?
A tzaddik can bring down a hashpah to the world at any time. A real tzaddik. He can influence the world. So he influenced the world, he manipulated the world, influenced the world, brought down the secret because he felt that it was necessary.
And what about him being tzaddik, Yisod tzaddik of Yisodim, or like the tzaddik of the tzaddiks, I think?
What?
Super tzaddik. Uber tzaddik.
What about it?
Rabbi Nachman.
What?
He's like super tzaddik, like that's him, like he's the only tzaddik, so like...
Impressive, yeah.
No, but I'm saying that's what he says about himself. Like the whole thing to come to me, to Uman to pray, and that he found this because like, he's not saying he's in the Gaiva type of sense, but like, he says that he's like, he saw of tzaddikim, like, he's the foundation of all tzaddikim. How do you understand that? Like, what's
An example.
I don't know the exact quote.
You never read that about him?
No. But even if he said it, we don't have to accept it.
No, but what do you mean by that? Like he meant to say that he's the self of all tzaddikim. What does that mean?
It's like Rabbi China ben Dosa says, Rabbi China says that the Torah world is sustained because of China ben Dosa. So
Rabbi said that.
Right, so Nachman say about himself.
I don't know if he said about himself how people would say it, you know.
Look, I don't know. I don't know exactly what Rabbi Nachman said, but I think that Rabbi Nachman felt that he did have the special capacity to connect people with Hashem.
It's possible.
It's possible, yeah.
Has there been precedence for this that was written anywhere else?
No.
No, so this is something new that he thought?
Well, the Baal Shem Tov really publicized it. The question whether it existed before and it was kept secret.
So it's really based on Baal Shem Tov's theory?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you explain why the whole fight between the who was it? The two ones that didn't.
Rav Kook and Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld?
No. The two Hasidim, they were on...
No, Ishbitz and Kosk.
Oh, Ishbitz and Kosk, there you go. Kosk was a really like brutal, emes and everything else. I was reading, did you ever read the book? It's by Eli Wiesel. He writes about, it's a very nice book actually, and he was doing the story of Israel. And he poetically licensed, the story over there. So, like, what's the real deal? What happened? Why did the Koska push with the Israel?
Nobody knows.
But you know.
How am I supposed to know?
Because you know everything.
Why the Kotzker and the Ishbitz are part ways? But the Kotzker, I think the Ishbitz only left after the Kotzker went into seclusion.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Right, so they want to say that the Ishbitz held that this is not a good derech. Kotzker said, tough on you, this is my derech now.
They were like best friends growing up.
Well, the Ishbitzer was even a Talmud of the Kotzker. He's younger.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what happened?
The Satan got involved. What do you mean what happened? When a good thing happens, the Satan gets involved.
And the Gerers, the movement afterwards, they disqualified the Ishbitzer. They're like...
Well, not completely, not completely, because it's the Sfas Emes censored the Tzidkas HaTzadik. So obviously he had an affinity for Reb Tzadok.
And Reb Tzadok was an Ishbitzer?
Reb Tzadok was the Ishbitzer's main Talmud. The Ishbitz from Radzin comes from Ishbitz. A lot of branches come from Ishbitz.
Are there as heavy as they used to be, these sects of Tzadikim, they're not existing anymore?
What do you mean?
Like, like the Ishbitzer and the Kotzker, they were both of both worlds, the Talmudic world, the thinking world, and the Hasidic world put together like Superman, So...
The age of Superman ended with the beginning of the 1900s.
Yes, there no. You don't see it in your real Hasidim, like...
I don't see it.
But, is everybody with blended now nowadays? No?
What?
They're all blended now. Like there's always the Gemara, emphasis on learning Gemara, and like to do this, like blended, they became all blended now.
Right. Blended is, I don't know, it's a nice way of putting it.
Cool.
Everything came out of mishmash. Yeah. So. That's how that's how I wrote my article, which was never published. The one about the forks, yeah. Okay, I guess we'll stop here for tonight.
No, it's too early. We'll stop the
I've
camera.
only been here 20 years.
Well,
Any questions you want to ask?
big talker. Yeah. You want me to see your phone? You'll sleep for the next 15 minutes? Okay, fine.
Say goodbye.